Mathematics is very important to our daily lives. But then, there are still many students who really hate and cannot appreciate it. The common reason behind this is that they can't understand it very well.
Teachers are also one of the factors why students find difficulty in solving mathematics problems. For instance, solving quadratic equations is not an easy topic, for it requires the student to know its formula in order for them to arrive at a certain solution accurately.
But now, there is already a software that will help students to solve quadratic equation correctly using quadratic formula. And this is Complete Mathematics Software. I am Jude Panaga
And I'm Joan Bernardo,
your lecturers. We are here to discuss on how to solve quadratic equation using quadratic formula through the help of Complete Mathematics Software.
And to assure our answer is correct, we will do the usual way.
Quadratic equation came from the Latin word quadratus, which means squares. It is an equation having the form ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where x represents known numbers such that a is not equal to 0. If a is equal to 0, then it is linear, not quadratic.
The quadratic equations only contains power of x that are non-negative integers. Therefore, it is a polynomial equation, and in particular, it is in the second-degree polynomial equation since the greatest power is 2.
Let us solve the given equation, which is x squared plus x minus 56 is equal to 0. In order for us to solve for the values of x, we will use the quadratic formula, which is x is equal to negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And so, to determine the values of a, b, and c, which is the constant, we should determine the numerical coefficient of the first, the second, and the constant of the given equation. A is equal to 1 since the numerical coefficient of first term is equal to 1. B is equal to 1 since the numerical coefficient of the second term is 1. And C is equal to negative 56. Let us now substitute the values of A, B, and C to the given formula. Negative 1 plus minus square root of 1 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 56 all over 2 times 1 is equal to negative 1 plus minus square root of 1 times 1 is equal to 1 minus 4 times 1 is equal to 4 times negative 56 is equal to negative 224. And over 2 times 1 is equal to 2. Is equal to negative 1 plus minus square root of 1. Negative times negative is positive. Plus 224. All over 2. Is equal to negative 1 plus minus square root of 1 plus 224 is equal to 225 all over 2 is equal to negative 1 plus minus square root of 225 is 15 all over 2. To solve for the values of x, we'll separate the operations. X is equal to negative 1 plus 15 all over 2. And x is equal to negative 1 minus 15 all over 2. So we'll first determine the answer of this first x. X is equal to negative 1 plus 15 is equal to 14 all over 2. 14 divided by 2 is equal to 7. So the first x is equal to 7. For the second value of x is equal to negative 1 minus 15 is equal to negative 16 all over 2. Negative 16 all over 2 is equal to negative 8. So the value of the second x is equal to negative 8.
Another equation is 3x squared minus 7x plus 3 is equal to 0. Since the formula for the quadratic equation is x is equal to negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Let us now get the values of a, b, and c, which is the constant. A is equal to 3 since the numerical coefficient of the first term is equal to 3. B is equal to negative 7 since the numerical coefficient of the second term is negative 7. And our c is 3 since it is the constant in the given equation. So we have x is equal to negative times negative 7 plus minus square root of negative 7 squared minus 4 times 3 times 3 all over 2 times 3. X is equal to negative times negative is equal to positive. So we have 7 plus minus square root of negative 7 times negative 7 is equal to positive 49. 49 minus 4 times 3 is equal to 12 times 3 is equal to 36. All over 2 times 3 is equal to 6. So we have x is equal to 7 plus minus the square root of 13 all over 6. To get the values of x, we now separate the operations. X is equal to 7 plus square root of 13 all over 6 and x is equal to 7 minus square root of 13 all over 6. We now solve the first value of x. Since the square root of 13 is equal to 3.61, let us now substitute this value of the square root of 13 to this equation. X is equal to 7 plus 3.61 all over 6. So we have x is equal to 7 plus 3.61 is equal to 10.61 all over 6. So we have x is equal to 1.768. Since we need to round it off in 2 decimal places, our x now is equal to 1.77. For the next value of x, we have 7 minus, let us also substitute the value of the square root of 13, which is 3.61. All over 6. So x is equal to 7 minus 3.61 is equal to 3.39. All over 6. So we have x is equal to 0.565. If we round it off to its 2 decimal places, we have x is equal to 0.57. Another equation here is 2x squared minus 9x minus 5 is equal to 0. since we will use the quadratic formula, which is x is equal to negative b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac all over 2a. We will now get the values of a, b, and c, which is the constant. A is the numerical coefficient of the first term, which is 2. The value of b is the numerical coefficient of the second term, which is negative 9. And our constant is equal to negative 5. Let us now substitute the values of a, b, and c in the formula of the quadratic equation. So we have x is equal to negative times negative 9 plus minus square root of negative 9 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 5 all over 2 times 2. Next is x is equal to negative times negative is equal to positive. So we have positive 9. 9 plus minus square root of negative 9 times negative 9 is equal to positive 81. 81 minus 4 times 2 is equal to 8 times negative 5 is equal to negative 40. All over 2 times 2 is equal to positive 4. We have now x is equal to 9 plus minus square root of 81. Negative times negative is equal to positive. So we have now plus 40 all over 4. Next, we have x is equal to 9 plus minus the square root of 81 plus 40 is equal to 121 all over 4. To get the values of x, we will now separate the two operations. So we have now x is equal to 9 plus square root of 121 all over 4, and x is equal to 9 minus square root of 121 all over 4. We will now simplify this in order for us to get the values of x. Now, we have x is equal to 9 plus, since the square root of 121 is equal to 11, we have now 9 plus 11 all over 4. So, x is equal to 9 plus 11 is equal to 20. 20 all over 4. So, we have x is equal to 20 divided by 4 is equal to positive 5. We will now get the second value of x. So, we have x is equal to 9 minus the square root of 121, which is 11 all over 4. So, we have now x is equal to 9 minus 11 is equal to negative 2 all over 4. Since this fraction is also equal to x is equal to negative 1/2, or in decimal, it is x is equal to negative 0.5.
Since we have already solved the given problems through the usual way of solving it, we will now try the complete mathematics software to check whether our answers will be the same from the answers that the software will give.
This is the process on how we can manipulate this software. First, go to the application and then open it. From this, click Enter Classroom. As you can see, there are many categories, but click the practical tool. Then just click Experiment to go to the topic that you want to solve. Since our topic is all about quadratic equation, just click the quadratic equation solver button. From our first given equation, we have x squared plus x minus 56 is equal to 0, and the values of x are 7 and negative 8. Since the value of a is equal to 1, b is equal to 1, and c is equal to negative 56, then click the solve equation button to see the solution and to determine whether we will arrive at the same answer. As you can see, this is the solution, and the values of x are 7 and negative 8. Therefore, we had arrived at the same answer. Another equation was 3x squared minus 7x plus 3, and the values of x that we had solved were 1.77 and 0.57. Now, just input the values of a, b, and c respectively. The value of a is equal to 3, the value of b is equal to negative 7, and the value of c is equal to 3. Click Solve Equation to see again the solution. Based from the solution, the values of x are 1.77 and 0.57. Thus, we had again arrived at the same answer. And the last equation that we had solved was 2x squared minus 9x minus 5 is equal to 0. The values of x that we've got were 5 and negative 0.5. From this equation, just input the values of a, b, and c, which are 2, negative 9, and negative 5. Then click again Solve Equation. Based from the solution of the software, the values of x are 5 and negative 0.50. Thus, we had arrived again on the same values of x. Since we have witnessed that in using the complete mathematics software in solving quadratic equations using the quadratic formula, we will still arrive at the same solution and answer.
This only shows that this software will be a big help in solving not only in quadratic equation but also to other concepts of mathematics. Again, this is Jude Panaga,
And this is Joan Bernardo,
your lecturers. Thank you for watching and God bless.